Recording on.
All right, thanks all for joining. This is Bitcoin Design Wallet Scrutiny Call number 6, December 20, last one for the year. So we'll chat about a few things. I think the big thing on the table today are expert opinions and user testing. So I did prepared a few things for user testing, and I prepared some initial designs for the expert opinions, and maybe we can just go over those. What else? Ed, Leo, anything else you'd like to discuss?
No, I could tell. Well, Danny, who is a copywriter, wants to learn to code, and so he tried to scan all the Android descriptions for features. And while doing so, he suggested to add the descriptions of all the apps to all the individual pages. Back when I activated the pages crawling, I thought it would not be very helpful to have the full descriptions of all the apps in Wallet Scrutiny itself. But wanted to ask you what you think. Is this something we should add, or is there anything else we should add from the Google Play Store listings or also the App Store listings? If it's automatable, then why not? Or is it just a wall of text that is not relevant to the mission of Wallet Scrutiny?
How about we just take a look at what it actually is? So let's see. Okay, let me just put that in my background here, and then we can take a look at it together. Give me just a second. This one here. Okay. So here in my background is such a page. And which text would it be scraping?
No, Danny, to figure out what the features are, downloaded the about text, or he automated the download of the about text. And I don't know if he misunderstood me, but he added it to Wallet Scrutiny and made, like, he suggested to change Wallet Scrutiny in that way. But I thought that would not be helpful. But while we are at it, everything in this page is acquirable automatically. So I could have the app screenshots, and I could have the about text, and I could have whatever other data you see on the Google Play page, we could automatically pull into Wallet Scrutiny. But 3 years ago, I decided to only pull in what currently is in, and I'm even inclined to remove some of that. For example, the star rating I consider less relevant than an expert opinion and other things. But yeah, sure, users like those star ratings, so I would currently not remove it.
Okay. So it would be this about text here, right?
For example, yeah, this about text can be much longer in some cases. Some wallets with links in. Google Play doesn't linkify them, so they are just plain text links in the Play Store. But of course, we could handle this differently, etc., etc., etc. Any data that is there is also available for pulling into Wallet Scrutiny.
Yeah, I mean, so a couple thoughts here. You don't want to clutter up. There's no point in duplicating the
Right.
landing page, so it doesn't really help that way. It's better if Wallet Scrutiny is just kind of focused. But if there is something related to security that could be pulled in, then that might be worth it. For example, permissions. Some applications really want a ton of permissions that you might not find appropriate. So pulling those in and maybe highlighting permissions that feel like are a little bit over the line, that could potentially be something.
Yeah, we should warn about certain permissions. That's a good point.
Yeah. So that's how I would look at it. I mean, another way you could look at it is maybe it's okay to. I mean, I don't know. You only store the latest version. You don't store the history of those changes, right?
Of course, in the Wallet Scrutiny repository, there is something of a history.
Yeah.
Whenever I update it, and the Git repository of Wallet Scrutiny also has a snapshot of the historic names when the icon changed, etc., etc.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that could be observed there. Let's say, I don't know, from one update to the next, the word self-custody was removed and replaced with custodial or something. I don't know. I
But
can't think of anything smart here, but maybe
yeah,
there's something to be observed in the changes that happen.
I think that KI needs to advance. No, what's it? AI needs to advance a bit more to figure such details out automatically.
Yeah.
But I'll take a note about the permissions.
That link, which is linking to the source code, is that clickable or is that no?
Let me also share this link here in the chat.
Yeah, cool.
I don't see, where do you see a link to source code?
In the about.
Yeah, and the about, just all the way at the top.
Yeah, as I said, the about text is not linkifying the links. So if somebody wants to visit the GitHub there, then he has to copy the link and paste it in a browser.
Oh.
Other links are like the provider's website is usually linkified, but for example, this wallet doesn't provide one, maybe? Or is it in a different screen? Yeah. Not all apps have all the data, and so this needs a bit of a special case handling at times, but that's quite trivial to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would only pull in data if it is relevant for a security related information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's leave it at that and give it to Christoph to continue with the other topics.
Hey, Tanner. Okay, so I'll just share some expert opinion. I posted an expert opinion, which you will probably highly appreciate here. So I tried out the functionality. Seems like big things are happening for Nostr right now, so that's great. And then I looked through and I just came up with some first designs. So here you'll see all the different states of this commenting widget. And then here's what it would look like. I mean, it's a first draft here, right? What it would look like in the context of a page. So you scroll down, you see I just called it community opinions because if it says expert opinions, you have to clarify what experts are, and maybe it feels exclusive. I don't know. So it just says these are contributed by members of the wallet scrutiny community. And then it says, thank you for helping review wallets for security issues, enabling more people to secure and custody their Bitcoin. So there's kind of a clear mission there. It's not just like, hey, what do you think? What's your opinion? But it's like, okay, this is a community thing, and it's about security, and it's about helping people custody Bitcoin. Then there's the summary at the top, 6 positive, 3 neutral, 2 negative. I tried to come up with that shield thing. I also I looked into thumbs up, thumbs down, arrows up, arrows down, some other things. And then I ended up with just the last version that I did with these shields to consider that security aspect. I think neutral could also be mixed, potentially. So it summarizes the reviews, and then you're looking at only the approved ones and not all opinions, which is not accurate here. I just put that in. And then you would see the list of reviews, and if someone's an approved reviewer, it's probably also not the right terminology here, approved reviewer, then they would get a little tag here. The colors are maybe a little bit overkill. The red is really strong, the green's really strong. Probably tamed down a bit, but otherwise it's pretty straightforward. And then if you want to add your opinion, you have this little button down here. And then once you click it, and you're not logged in, you get this bit of information here about guidelines. Then you get to choose, there's a link to methodology. You get to choose whether you want to log in or register. If you want to log in, you put in your private key. If not, it creates a private key for you, lets you know what you can do with it, that you need to copy it, keep it in a safe place. There's a link to Noster to explain what that is. Here's the input field. You pick your sentiment, you enter your opinion. There should probably something, if let's say it includes, I don't know, curse words or something, it should not let you post it. Then your opinion was posted, and then if you want to update your opinion, it's like just the same form, but just pre-filled with slightly different text. So yeah, that was kind of a first stab at it. That's why I ended up at. And one thing I was wondering when I posted, the from field is just, I think it's the first 7 characters of the public key. I was wondering, I don't actually know how that works in Nostr. Is there such thing as a user profile, a nice avatar?
Yeah, there is. There totally is. So you can provide a link to your profile picture. You can define a profile name, but those names are not unique. So if I want to be Christoph and you, then we are just both Christoph. So it's kind of relevant that there is some ways to stand out. For example, you can, if you have Christoph.com, then you can be Christoph at Christoph.com. If you put a certain document on the website Christoph.com that defines that your public key is actually Christoph.
Okay, yeah. Okay. Yeah, and is that information stored with every single post that you make, or does the client go out and ask its relays for that profile information?
Yeah, the client would know that kind 3 events are relevant to get the profile information. So if they would see a profile, if they would see a public key, they would ask the Nostr network, is there a kind 3 event for that public key, and would get back this information, and then could fill in the avatar link. And you could have, I mean, people currently use is it Gravatar? No, it's robots. So these, these unique robots, they are not very unique. I think there is
That's like favicons. No, not favicons. Like
identicons,
yeah.
In the form of a robot.
Yeah.
They are quite popular with Nostr too, so they could be there to just distinguish the people. So you have a recognition when you go through several analysis and you see the expert opinion of the same guy with the same profile picture would certainly be more friendly than having just the 7 digits of pub key, which is also brute forceable. So 7 is not enough to be unique. There might be some 000.
I wonder if, and hey guys, sorry for joining late. I wonder if you could just have like the username, and then if it's longer than 7 or somewhere that snippet of the pub key next to it, so it is all in all is unique. I don't know if that's kind of hacky, but could combine the username and part of the pub key.
Yeah, okay. It just seems like it's relevant for the registration flow, because if in the registration flow, there might also need to be a link to a place where someone can add their profile. So they don't just post something, they're like, what the hell is this? I'm not F5732B.
Yeah. No, we definitely would need to integrate deeper with Nostr, and now with the expert opinions, we might want to have a public discussion about the expert opinions, and we might have just like an automated wallet scrutiny posts to Nostr social, like an expert had this opinion, what do you want to reply? And so other Nostr clients that are not Vault Scrutiny would get a link to Vault Scrutiny and to the expert opinion there. And when they would in their Nostr client reply to that, then we could show the discussion about the expert opinion on Vault Scrutiny again. So
Yeah.
I want to integrate with Nostr more than just showing this here.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like all of a sudden there's a ton of momentum with Nostr, so maybe this will move fairly quickly. And yeah, maybe Wallet Scrutiny can be a really great early version or UI for kind of rich discussion. What do
And
you think?
now I was just wondering what if someone wants to update their opinion? If they update it, does the original opinion disappear and then a history is shown, or how does that work? Oh, there we go.
I picked a replaceable event. So if the discussion about the expert opinion, but yes, first of all, every expert is only entitled to one opinion in in my view. So he
Okay.
cannot upvote the project 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
So if it changes from positive to negative, it's not an average of 0, but it's he's voting negative about the project, and the comment he leaves would also be a new Nostr event, which would replace the old Nostr event,
Mm-hmm.
and that would kind of tear down the discussion about his former comment.
Mm-hmm.
But if a Vault Scrutiny account would make a Nostr social post that would link to the old event, then the old event would could still remain available, because the replacement is not mandatory. No, it doesn't have to be deleted, so people could still refer to it later. I don't know if that is good to have discussions about a withdrawn opinion. Yeah, but it doesn't make sense to have the discussion of an expert opinion when the expert changed his opinion. So I think it's okay to lose the discussion about the opinion if the expert changes his opinion, at least as far as what scrutiny is concerned.
Could the client receive, when it's checking for these reviews, receive two different versions of it and use a timestamp to say, here's the current version, here's an old version, and it has two comments?
Yeah, the client could retain the old versions.
Mhm.
I think it is not helpful to download all the edits of all time of all the experts and whoever had opinions. Well, I chose to use a kind that is replaceable, where the servers are not supposed to store the history.
Yeah.
Um, and do you think it is important to retain the expert opinions history?
It's a tricky one.
It just depends. It just kind of depends how heated these things get, right? If someone makes, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes people get really serious about these things, and then they change things around to screw with each other or so. If it's just, it's like comments on some social media site. It doesn't matter. Like 10 minutes later, everyone's forgotten about it because it was just about their breakfast or something. If this is meant to be very thorough reviews where I can go back and see last year about what people said about certain wallets or so, and maybe it's a little bit more important to have a
History.
solid history.
Yeah.
Well, I think in Twitter you can also delete your posts, and then there's
Yeah.
screenshots floating around, and people discuss, hey, was this actually a real screenshot, or is somebody messing with us? And
Yeah.
in that regard, Nostr has a cryptographic proof of the expert having said that thing if somebody retains it.
Yeah.
If somebody is really mad at the expert saying something about his wallet, and then there is a fight, and then the expert removes his opinion, I think it is, or replaces his opinion, I think it is fair to show only the latest opinion in Wallet Scrutiny and let them fight off-site if they want to fight about the old version of the opinion. Yeah, and I don't think we have to facilitate the retrieval of revised opinions.
Yeah, sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
and it's also what does the user want to see, right? Because if sometimes if there's too much of text, which would be the history, then it could be, I don't know, a little bit of information overkill. But then again, maybe people want to see it and then they can go into it. And, it's maybe allowing people the option to go into the history, but keeping the top level stuff very clean and
Here's another aspect. I think that expert opinions, at least accredited experts, will mostly be negative. So this is good on the one hand, that it might stir some fighting between experts, but on the other hand, I don't think we need even more fighting over historic revisions of the expert opinions.
yeah.
So maybe it's okay that um, bad wording can be corrected, and experts can revise their opinion as there is a trail that people can retain those signed messages. But I don't think we have to put it in their faces too aggressively. So yeah, I think the accreditation with anonymization is still a work in progress for me. But we could open the website pretty soon for the non-accredited opinions, and then just see what happens,
Yeah.
and look what to do with the accreditation later.
Yeah, I think it's good to be kind of assume that this thing will evolve over time. The biggest thing is probably once it rolls out to get some people to set things off on a good tone. Because if instantly people start bickering and there's just a negative tone to all these posts, then it might be harder to recover. But if a few people go in and they leave thoughtful reviews and opinions, then that will set the tone for the others who join in later.
So what also could be done is to have the public, like the non-anonymous accreditation, so that we show the affiliation of every expert, and only once we have many people on the website, we make the reveal of the affiliation optional. So so we figure out how this technically can work, and we let them run into the problems of not having that privacy from the beginning, but we start accreditation right from the beginning because it's simple to just have a list of accredited accounts.
Yeah. Do you do you have all these things in your head, or is there, for example, a document somewhere with specs around all of these different dynamics that everyone who's involved with wallet scrutiny can look at and give feedback on?
Like I shared, like I created an issue about this. I don't know how much I put there about my crystal ball reading of expert mood and wallet provider mood with one way or another of doing things. But yeah, I mean, I could write something up, but it's a guess right now. So my worry is that we just won't get any expert opinions because they don't want to attack their opponents, and they don't want due to retaliation, and they don't want to praise their opponents neither. So
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. I feel like the conversation has to get away, use the word attacking, retaliation.
Exactly.
Like that's not what it is, right?
No.
It's like when we do design reviews and whatnot. It's like, yeah, we give each other feedback, and that's
Yeah.
just how it is. Some's critical and some's positive, and sometimes it's
yeah, many
completely
people take
right?
any criticism of their baby as just too much, and they go on Twitter and call people names over things like that. So
But
yeah,
that's probably just a small group of people now. I mean, the
yeah,
people who really want to do good work, they're like, okay, cool, I'll work with this
Yeah.
if it's fair, right? There are always a bunch of people bickering and just being whiny about
okay, then
feedback.
try it out. I mean, if you
Yeah.
think that people will dare to put their heads out, um, I love your design. It's great. I think there is one. I mean, in future, I want to expand the three options of positive, neutral, negative to maybe other things like not only the sentiment but other aspects too, and that would make the design a bit complicated. I mean, it would have to change quite considerably if it's more than one aspect that is being looked at.
Yeah.
But maybe it's not necessary to think about that now when there's not many people interest, or when we don't know if many people will jump at it as it is, because I think we will get momentum with simplicity, and once there is momentum, we can add more nuance.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you lay out, let's say, three different variations of how this could go, like you said, we're guessing right now for certain
Yeah,
things because we don't know how the dynamics will unfold. But if you lay out, let's say, three different versions, I can mock up those three different versions. And then once we have visuals, it'll be easier to present that to a bunch of different people, like whether it's directly asking people that you think might be good candidates for these as these expert reviewers, or I don't know if you want to do it on Twitter or not, because it's just less useful feedback you get there. But then it's easier to discuss these different directions without ever even having developed it, right? Without touching any code. So that's
Yeah, and
one way to do it.
yeah, and we're it's been a long process, but um, I'm trying to set up channels with different wallet developers. So we have Zach from Foundation that we're trying to set up a call with to hopefully get their take too. But in general, I think I agree that we shouldn't set up too much friction like up front. Like when Twitter started, they didn't have the verified and or they didn't have as many tiers as they do now. So I think it's better to kind of start open and then see what kind of the natural organic structure that emerges from it. Um, so if that means that we open it up to more than just experts at the beginning and then see how maybe wallet developers isn't the ideal expert in some other group. But yeah, we can, and I think setting up that document too will be helpful. And Leo, if you want me to put together like a skeleton just for expert opinions and what our kind of framework's going to be, I can do that to get started.
Yeah. I'd also be, I don't, I don't know if I would also be curious to see if you personally put together three fake opinions, that one that you think is a very good opinion, another one would be like a very good positive one, a very good neutral one, a very good negative one, and then a bad version, like the type of opinions that you do not want to get, to kind of help
That's a good
illustrate
idea.
what and maybe out of those could come some type of I don't know, guidelines for this feature or so. And it might also help if you formulate what a good opinion would look like, that might also send a nice signal to any wallet developers, where they can understand that it's not about just, you know, pulling out the bad things everywhere and just pointing them out, which no one likes, right? But giving a fair evaluation.
Yeah. Maybe the whole, yeah, I don't know, energy around that needs to move a bit. And yeah, I agree.
For sure.
It's like hosting a party, right? There's some parties you walk in and it's just super awkward, and the other ones you walk in, it's like everyone's having a good time, and you just walk in and you start conversations and it's flowing smoothly and
Yeah.
it's a good time. And somehow the host managed to create that atmosphere.
So Leo, overall, you kind of like this kind of design where the person can update their opinion, positive, neutral, negative, and for now we kind of just keep it simple.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, the identity aspect might be a good one to figure out.
that's a really important one.
At
I mean,
least something, right?
fake accounts will happen totally.
Is
Yeah, I created a fake account and posted something just earlier today. So there you go.
yeah, but you have that
Yeah,
from
so let's.
that that would be the person's, what is that? The public, is that's the public key at the moment that Nostr is pulling in?
That's part of the public key that's visible there. So it can be anything. The 7 digits can be brute forced to be whatever,
Yeah.
like whatever from hexadecimal.
But is it possible when the person creates their profile on Nostr, is it possible for them to make an like a choice or something with regards to,
Yeah.
is that in the how can you say, the sign up process, or
I
It's
think the
quite easy
username
to
is
do. So,
optional.
so I could add it to the wallet scrutiny widget to also edit your profile. So if somebody pastes his private key, he would be able to change his name, and
Mhm.
but he doesn't the name that is associated with the private key.
Yeah,
Uh, but we can also tell people to please use Astral or other clients that allow them to configure these things.
yeah,
And um, it, I mean, this is quite Nostr specific issues. Like those profiles, the tools don't agree on what to put into those profiles. So there is one Nostr client that has a username field which is not standard, and
hmm,
other clients omit that. So when you change your avatar in the other client and you lose your username that the first client was setting. So if we use anything that is non-standard, then other clients might overwrite it and of the profile kind. The opinion kind is defined by wallet scrutiny, so we can do whatever we want with it. And as long as no other tools jump on it and interpret everything differently, then there is no issue with that. Yeah. So yeah, I think the easiest way is to say, okay, use one of those 5 tools to get a nice avatar and username,
yeah.
and we'll know it, and we don't integrate editing it.
Um, is everyone okay if I talk a little bit about the UX research part? Because I'd like a little bit of advice from you guys, because this is quite solo, this whole UX research plan I've come up with. So I created an image this morning. I shared it with Christoph. I posted it within, I'll just share my screen very quickly. I posted it in the Slack channel in the Bitcoin design community. Would you like, is my screen visible?
Yep.
Yeah,
Would you like to test out wallet scrutiny and help us improve the site? So this is just something really friendly. I'm trying not to go for that research approach, just help us improve the site. I haven't had anyone reach out to me in the Bitcoin design Slack yet. I did post it in my Twitter as well, and I've had one person reach out to me via Twitter who would like to help out with some testing. So if you guys, if anyone is happy to share that I can just share the text with them, and the image. And if you feel like sharing it on your Twitter, I really appreciate it, because then I can get some more people to help test.
And let's also put it in the newsletter tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Um, I will just. Oh, is my screen visible now as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Cool. So this is the plan that I kind of came up with. Um, is to kind of understand the current user experience of the website. So what's going on at the moment. So my idea is kind of I'd like to first understand the problem in the person's mind, what they're thinking about before they go to wallet scrutiny, what happens when they discover the solution, and what happens when they interact with the solution. So I'm just kind of thinking out loud. I'm kind of thinking at the beginning of the call to say to someone, ask a few questions, um, just a little bit about their background, how long have they used wallets, how did they make decisions about using a wallet in the past, and then maybe ask them, hey, what would you type into Google if you are looking for XYZ? And then get them to say those words out loud, and just observe what kind of words people are using, because that might be interesting from an SEO perspective. Then say to them, okay, now we're going to go to the wallet scrutiny website. So I'll get them to just go on the website itself. I'll ask them for the overall impressions of the website. And then I'm going to give them a task to do. And then I'll get them to actually interact with the current review system on wallet scrutiny website. Yeah, just this is just my thoughts, but yeah, curious what you guys think.
Yeah, no, I
Would,
think that's a great
yeah, go ahead.
way to do it.
Would you send them to the website with a specific mission or a specific task,
Yeah.
or just leave it completely open?
I need help with coming up with a task. I need some help with that, because normally with usability testing, you kind of give someone a task, like you make it very task orientated, and but a very realistic task. So something that
Yeah.
people would really be doing, and you give them that task, and then you see if they're able to achieve that task. So it would be one of the most common things that wallet scrutiny is assuming that a user is doing on their on the website. So
I think that would be check if there is an issue with the wallet they are looking at or that they are using.
okay.
It's probably two things. One is you have a wallet, let's say you use Simple Bitcoin wallet or so, and you want to get an idea of how good the security of that wallet is
Yeah.
as a whole. And then the user should figure that out and maybe at the end summarize what they find out. If they were able to articulate something afterwards, which things stood out to them. And then, so that's a specific wallet. And the other one is then go there. You don't have a wallet. You want to find a good one,
Yeah.
and then find one, and then describe why you chose that one and how you came up with that opinion.
Okay. I'm just taking some notes. That's a good one. So there's two angles they came up.
And in both of them, the users are asked to use that website to understand the security of this application, and then form a perspective on it, and then be able to reflect on that.
Understand the
Because then
opinion.
that's what we want people to do, right?
Yeah.
They,
What do
they
you
should
think of
have
that,
an
Leo?
informed opinion afterwards.
Yeah, I like that. So two clear directions. I'm just reading my notes. That's why I'm looking down. So two clear directions. One is they're currently using a wallet, and they want to find out more information about the security of the wallet that they're using is angle number one. So that could be one task that we give them, and the other task could be, well, you have no wallet, and you're trying to make a decision as to which wallet would have the best level of security. So that would be
Yeah.
task number two.
And scenarios could be, a user, they always use Binance or something. They're worried about all these custody things. They want
Hmm.
to find a wallet now that has good security and self-custody,
Yeah.
but they don't know which one. So they use wallet scrutiny to solve that problem. The other one could be where, let's say, someone has a wallet which was recommended by their friend, and their
Hmm.
friend is not so savvy, can't really explain it. So this person is trying to, they've already been using it, but they're not really sure. It's just a recommendation, right? So
Hmm.
now they want to dig a little bit deeper and figure out if this is actually a good solution for them. They're already using it. So they may know, they know that they got it from the App Store. They may already have seen the ratings, but they're not familiar yet with the security, the deeper, more thorough evaluation of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. No, that really helps because I was really trying. I didn't couldn't think of the task myself, so that helps a lot. Yes, cool. That's really helpful. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Go ahead, Christoph.
oh, yeah, go ahead if you're, keep going if you still want to talk about the testing. So you want to do, I mean, with Christmas coming up, it'll probably not happen right away, right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do the. I'm just going to pull up my screen again. I think that I'm going to do the test next year because
Yeah.
yeah, it's quite something to do the test now. I think it's going to feel a little bit rushed if I start doing the test now. I think maybe just aim to start doing some tests in the first week of January.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, indeed. Yeah, I just need four people there, four more people. I already have one. Um, and other things I would like to understand, and this is the same thing with what Christoph said, is how are they able to understand the review, and are they able to make a decision from the review? So do they understand the copy that's on the website? Um, and yeah, where they naturally navigate into those kind of things. So yeah, I'll just basically what I'll be doing is I will be videoing them, observing them using the website, and I'll just make notes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's just half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good. That'll be really good to have.
Yeah.
And that leads me to another point. Since we have about 10 minutes, I assume everyone's gonna be going off on their own. Whether maybe you'll work through the whole time, maybe you'll spend all your time with family or playing with your new toys or something. But maybe earlier, so it's going to be a bit loose the next few weeks probably. But I was wondering, this is call number 6, right? So it's been, I don't know, 2 months or something. I was wondering if in the new year we should, so right now we're kind of, something came up, we do some design exploration, we pick another topic, we do some design exploration. But maybe in the new year, it's good to switch mode a little bit to try to pick out each of these things, finalize them, and implement them. Instead of doing more explorations, maybe just work more on finalizing and getting them out there in front of people and getting things live.
And I like this idea of Christoph because now we can do this initial testing on the current website. And then, as Christoph said, once things are implemented a bit more, or we can even do prototypes, then we can, start to test the new designs that Christoph has come up with so that, yeah, things are more, yeah, in real life. What do you guys think, Leo and Tanner?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, and especially as we'll try to get some more collaborative documents that, like you mentioned earlier, that we can kind of, now that we know what the direction is, more or less, we can iron out the details and in that, and then have the calls will be focused around best ways to implement. So yeah, I like that idea.
And
I
with
think that
designs, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think that I will try to put up some staging page so we can test out the design changes. And I want to get at least the expert opinion design proposal into the demo site that you already used for it.
Yep.
And I think I can do that pretty soon, but yeah, of course, Christmas is probably a week lost for the project.
Yeah, I just on that note as well, just to get a feel. Is it if we start some new calls, you know, because we create issues and then we create an event and then that's how these calls are scheduled. Is it feeling better for everyone more like the second week of January to kick off the next call? Yeah, second week of January
Works for
because
me.
we're on Wednesday now, so I think Wednesday. First week of January is probably really like really early after New Year's. So maybe move into the second week and go and shoot for something like the 7th. Um,
It depends what country you're in and what culture you're in and whether you have kids that go to school or not. So
yeah,
my son is
My
still off
daughter,
until the 6th.
our kids have vacations and until March. So we will definitely be on some holiday at some point, but we are not yet determined or not sure if it will be January, February, somewhere there. I think it will be second half of January.
yeah,
That you're back to full time or?
No, I will probably work from wherever we go. So definitely be available for calls.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah.
I mean, we can also work asynchronously. We can just send videos back and forth or whatever we want to do. It's not like.
yeah. It's not like we stop working because we don't have calls. So is it kind of feeling more like the 10th of January, like really skip that first week and then, or is the 10th of January still like too soon? Or
I'm fine with it. The 10th of January is one of those options where you might already be on holiday, but nothing is agreed on, and it's complicated. So
Let's just shoot for it and change it if it doesn't work.
yeah, cool. We'll go for that.
I'll let you know if there's any issues.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for my side, the way I like to do is I like to take all the different design individual things that we discussed, like the expert opinions and that supply chain thing, and general other website changes, and split them up and really detail them out, all the individual components and everything, and then maybe put together a clickable prototype for the experience to give to allow everyone else to just give better feedback because they can kind of click through things. And then hopefully at some point we can just call them kind of final for now, ready for production or so in a way. And then we can just kind of have keep, at least from the design side, kind of keep things, like just call things kind of ticked off.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be ideal for me. Of course, things will change, evolve later, right? But calling things done for now is a good thing. And then I think also once you have things implemented, you want to not keep changing it all the time. You wanted to give it a little bit of time, see how the dynamics play out, see how the team works with it, see how users respond to them and all that.
Yeah. And that's where I can do some initial testing now on the website, and then when Christoph has created the prototype, then I can test that one again and then see how people experience this new redesigned version. And that's always very interesting to see. So yeah, cool.
Okay.
I think that's a wrap if I'm not being too assumptive. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think we covered it all.
Where do you mostly discuss things right now? In Discord? Is that the main place to keep an eye on what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I will stop the call recording.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
All our million visitors on YouTube.
I will